Hello everyone and welcome to this video of Adobe Premiere Pro. And today in Adobe Premiere Pro, we are going to learn about the timeline panel. So let's not waste any time and get right into it. Now, in the last lessons, I told you that the timeline panel in Adobe Premiere Pro is a central workspace where you arrange and edit your video and audio clips to create your final project. It serves as the main canvas for assembling your footage, applying effects, transitions, and making precise edits. So first, in order to use the timeline panel, we know that we have to first put a file in our project panel, then turn it to our source, and afterwards we can basically click on insert and put it in our timeline panel. So I can just click and drag also and we'll be done. All right, here you can see that this is what my timeline panel is showing me. It is just a video clip of a BBQ, as you can clearly see. All right, this is the program monitor over here. This will show me the end result of my video, and whatever I edit inside it will show over here in the program panel. Okay, so let's go back over here, and this time I want to start with telling you what these toggle track output buttons do. Okay, now let's say over here I just press Alt and then copy it over there. Okay, so now I have like 3 clips over here. Okay, and if I play the video, you'll notice that these videos are still continuing and we are basically having the same video repeated over like 3 times. Okay, now what I'd like to tell you about this is, let's say you don't want to see the middle part of this video. In fact, let me go ahead and delete this part and let's put in another video over here from our source panel. Let's create a small video time frame. Let's say it's only 7 seconds. I mark it out, mark it in, and then I'd like to insert it right over here. So I'll click over here and then I'll just click on insert, and there you go. We have our Japanese subway section ready. All right, now I want to put it in the second part or else it will not show itself. Okay, now if I go back over here and let's trim our video over here also. Let's put it up to like 5 seconds. All right, so this is the short video that I have, and it does look like something that it looks like this basically. All right, so let's say you didn't want to see a significant part of your video. You can do that very easily by selecting this toggle track output. Now if I select this, you can see that it will not show anything over here, and if I play it, my program monitor over here will not show everything that is displayed in this first video track. But the second video track, as soon as the time comes for the second video track, it will start displaying the video in my program monitor. Okay, and then we can go to the third video as well. Let's say I want to remove the third video from here too. I can click on the toggle track output, and now you will see that at the end over here it's not showing. You might have noticed that whenever I click on the toggle track output, there's a yellow line over here. This yellow line basically is telling you that this amount of data or video is being able to be seen in our timeline panel. All right, so this is what the toggle track output basically does, and you can see as I undo the toggle track output, my full video comes into view, which is why the whole line over here turns to yellow. Okay, so this is what you need to know about the toggle track output. And after the toggle track output, we have the toggle sync lock. Okay, now what the toggle sync lock does is basically it allows a user to lock to certain tracks together to keep them in sync with each other. Okay, to lock a track, you just need to click on the toggle sync lock, and what will happen after that is basically it will show a diagonal line over here displaying that the pattern is locked on this track. To unlock it, you just need to click on it again, and you'll see that sync lock disappears for our timeline. Now let's say I turned it on, and this time if I were to, like, let's say I were to select all of these, go over here, okay, and let's say I had multiple tracks of my BBQ over here, okay, all right, let's say I had multiple, and now over here if I were to like select all of these and then delete, it will delete, okay. But what I was trying to say is basically, okay, now let's say I were to select all of them, and if I just select this and then this and then this, okay, now when I just basically move it to the left side after selecting, okay, you'll notice that when I move it, only the ones that are not in toggle sync lock will move. Other than that, everyone else will move, okay. So this is what the toggle sync lock basically does. All right, it locks in the clips over here, whether you select it or not, it won't matter, it will stay in place, it will be locked, and you will be able to move the clips which are not toggle sync locked together, okay. So after the toggle sync lock over here, we have the track targeting, which is basically V1, V2, V3. All right, what track targeting does is it's a feature in Premiere Pro that helps in navigation, copy, paste, and match framing. It establishes a hierarchy of order in the timeline and determines which track your video and audio goes to when you perform an override and insert to other edit options in the program monitor. All right, so there is one source patch for video and one for audio, as you can clearly see over here, which appears when the type of source is selected, okay. Let's say I selected this source over here, it will appear in our video. All right, if I deselected these sources, it will not appear. For example, let's say I deselected this, and now if I play it, you'll notice that it's still over here, okay. All right, now you might think that this basically disables your video, which it does not, okay. It helps you in copy pasting your video files. Okay, let's say I just copied this whole section over here to this part, and then we copied one more over here. All right, let's do it again. Okay, let's say I had this type of copy. Now let's just add another track over here, press OK. All right, now what will happen is if we copy a significant part of my video, let's say I copied this BBQ timeline over here, let's press Ctrl C, and now I want to paste it over here. So if I paste it over there, you'll notice that it overwrites the video. All right, this is not what I want. Let's say I go over here and I want to paste it after the end of this video. Let's press Ctrl V, and now you can see that it's pasting it over here. Now I want to paste it on this V4 track, okay. Now in order to do this, I have to first deselect all of these track audio, okay, and then let me just delete this. Now let's say I want to place it over here on the top. Now if I press Ctrl V, all right, so you can also basically use this option over here. Let's just bring it to full screen. Now you can also map hotkeys for the toggle track video option. So let's go over here and then go to edit, then select keyboard shortcuts. All right, and here we'll just type down the words toggle target audio, or even you can put in video. So since I want to do the video first, and over here we can select whatever we want. Okay, we can select the type of shortcut that we want. So let's say for this I will put in 1, then for this one 2, for this one 3. Okay, now this is just for explanation. Let's just press on OK, and then if I select 1, 2, 3, you can see that I'm toggling it all. Okay, if I want to basically toggle track 1, I can do that. If I do track 2, and this is all from my keyboard. Okay, so this is very easy to use. I hope you've understood how to use the toggle track targeting. And afterwards, we have the toggle track lock. Now, what the toggle track lock does is, all right, so now after this, what I'd like to basically explain is the follow selections follows playhead option. Okay, if you leave this on, you will see that whatever my playhead goes through, it will select the clip that is being shown in my video timeline, okay, or the program timeline. Now you can see that it follows everything perfectly. All right, and this is what happens. Okay, let's go back over here. Now you can also leave that off if you do not require it. All right, so after this, we will go to the next part. Is basically if you go over here and then deselect a timeline, for example. Now remember that we have put this option over here where it will select the follow playhead. All right, now you can see that it is not selecting anything from the V1 track because I have turned it off. Now if I select V2, you'll see that it's not selecting the V2 track also. Now I have to make sure I deselect this, and now you can see that it's not selecting over here very clearly. Okay, so this is what you need to know about the follow playhead option for selections. Okay, now you can see that all of them are working perfectly, right? Now the next option I want to basically show you is this toggle track lock. Now what this option does is basically lock all of these tracks that you have placed in the significant video track, and you will not be able to basically move them or do anything to them. You can do this because sometimes you need to move your audio clips or video clips to a certain area and you do not want them to move together, or you can also use them in order to prevent any loss of data while trying to use your Adobe Premiere Pro. Now you can see that after I locked it, there are dashed lines over this track, which means it's ready and it is locked. And if I move it, it will not basically move anywhere. Even if I select it, it will not be selected because it is locked. All right, so that is the toggle track lock for our Premiere Pro timeline panel. Okay, let's go to the next part, which is, all right, so now I will teach you about source patching. Let me just select all of these and delete it. Now what source patching is, basically if you take a video clip from your source monitor over here, okay, or your source panel. Now let's say I take about 5 seconds worth of clip over here. Okay, so now after that, if I did not click on insert over here and instead just put it over here, and now you'll see that the video over here is telling me that the video tracks over here has added this source patching option, which is basically telling me that this is from the source monitor and it is not from our insert option that we have from our source panel. Okay, let's just move it up, and now you can see that this is here. Now if I just deselect these options, okay, let's say I just want the audio for my video over here. Now I will just delete, I will just remove the link selection, delete this, and this time let's say I just want the audio from our source. I can just go over here, click this, and now you can see just the audio comes over here, not our video. All right, and I can also just go over here and drag the audio only from clicking on this part over here, and this is what happens. All right, now if I just delete this, we can just also use the insert option, and now you'll see that it inserts it in a new part over here. All right, so this is what you do. And now if I just click on the video, and if I just click and drag, you'll see that the video comes from our source. Okay, now let's delete all of these. Now what source patching basically does is help you in order to take whatever you need from your source panel. All right, now let's say I have these files over here, and I want to basically put some new video files over, or put some new video or audio files over. I can just go over here, deselect the audio, and then go over here and then insert. And now you can see that since I put insert, it puts it on the top of the video. Right. Let's try this again. Now you can see that here only the video is being pulled in. Now I can just press Ctrl C and then paste it accordingly, as you can clearly see. Okay, so this is what source patching is basically in Adobe Premiere Pro, right? Now, if you do not use source patching, we can also use the overwrite and insert, which I highly recommend for you to do instead of like moving your clips like this. It's not good to do that. All right, make sure both of these are enabled for your source patching whenever you use them, or else you'll have problems like those people face in those beginners face sometimes in Adobe Premiere Pro. Sometimes they'll just accidentally click on this and be like, why is my video only coming here? I want my audio to come here too. What's wrong? You have to make sure you click both of them if you want both of my audio and video. All right, now say that over here I want to put my source over here. I can just go over here, and now you can see that if I insert, it'll insert it in the second video track over here. If I select this one, if I select insert, now you can see that this is what happens. Okay, so this is basically how you use the source patching in our Adobe Premiere Pro software. All right, so now let's begin with the next part. The audio tools for Adobe Premiere Pro timeline panel. Okay, so the audio tools that we have in our disposal are the voiceover, record, the solo track, the mute. Okay, so first the voiceover record, and it is self-explanatory. It will record your voice and it will show a timer over here, and now you can see that it's recording my voice. And now what you will see is basically when I select this option for voice record, is it will show me a timer first, and then it will just record my voice automatically into the videos and audio files if I have them available. So this is what the voiceover option basically does. Let me stop it by just clicking on this option again. And now you can see that this is what the audio file is. Let me just play it for you so that you can hear it. Okay, so in order to play it, I'll just press on space. Okay, now I guess you understood the way we can use the voiceover record. And if you want more options for your voiceover record, just right click on it and go to voiceover record settings. And afterwards, you will see that over here we have the voiceover record settings. Here we can select the name for audio, the source, the inputs, and also we can select the pre-roll for our video. Now, what the pre-roll is, it will give you a countdown before starting your audio recording or voiceover, and the post-roll will basically give you a countdown before your audio is being ended. Okay, now you can deselect this if you want to create an exact timing for the record. I would always recommend deselecting it because sometimes we are used to that, and post roll I never use it anyways, but I'll just keep it on. Okay, so this was your voiceover settings, and afterwards we have the solo track option. Now what this will do is basically help you listen to a single track on your Adobe Premiere Pro software. Okay, now let's say I have a video over here, okay, and I can just move this here. Now this is what the video will sound like. Okay, so now let's say that I used up till this much, so I'll use the razor tool over here, press shift and cut it over here, and then I'll just use the selection tool again, delete this part. I'll teach you all the tools later on in the next few lessons, but first here you can see that my audio is over here. I would like to record my voice. Mic testing, 1 2 3 4, mic testing. Okay, now I'm done. So let's do that. And now let's say that over here, if I play the video, you'll hear both my voice and also the video's audio. So let's play it. Now, if I play this video over here, you'll notice that the audio is going and also the recording is also matched with it. All right, so here you can clearly see that our audio and video both are being played together. Now, let's say I just wanted to hear this solo track. I wanted to hear this audio that is coming with my video. I can just press on this solo track option. And now if I play it, you will only hear the music. Okay, now if you just want to select the other solo track, you can do that as well, or my audio of my voiceover. Now if I play it, you can hear that only my voice is being shown with the video. Okay, this is how you basically use the solo track option. Now this is a very good shortcut for you, because in case you beginners start using Adobe Premiere Pro, you will mostly use this mute track option. And then say I had more files over here, okay, audio files to be exact. Let's just select this, press Alt to copy, and there you go. Now let's say I have these files over here and I wanted to listen to this singular track. Most of you will just mute it like this and use the result like this to just hear the audio that you want. You can just click on this S option and you will only hear one significant audio, and the rest of them are going to be muted out automatically. You don't have to mute every single audio track that you hear on your videos or timeline panel. Okay, so this is a good shortcut for using your Premiere Pro when you first begin. Okay, now afterwards, we already explained these options for toggle track lock, toggle track audio, which is similar to toggle track video option. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next part over here, which is the track volume. Now what the track volume will do is basically increase or decrease the amount of volume you put in your video. Let's say we just increased it, and now if I play it, you can see that the bar goes all the way to the top. All right, let's put it back to 0, which is the basic normal. Okay, there you go. And afterwards, over here, if you double click on any track, you will notice that it will open up like this, and then you can see both the left and right sides of your audio. And even if you go over here and double click the video, you can see that this is what happens. It will show us a preview of what our video is. All right, then you can do that for any of the tracks. If you scroll, you can just go to the timeline parts where you can see that if I scroll down, it increases. If I scroll up, it will go to the previous parts. All right, so let's go forward with the next part, which is basically the keyframes option. Now what will this do is put keyframes on your video or audio, as you can see that you can only add it to the videos. Now I will show you the keyframes explanation later. Basically, you can add keyframes over here and then add one again, and then use this go to previous and after next option to go to the keyframes, as you can clearly see. Okay, now what I'll do is delete all of them because we are done learning about the audio. Now we're going to learn about these options that are inside of our timeline panel. First, we have the insert and override sequences as nets or individual clips. What this option will do. Now, what this option does is it allows users to insert and override sequences as nests or individual clips. Now, to nest a sequence, right-click on the clips that you want to apply a warp stabilizer on and then select nest. And the first button, or insert and override sequences as nest or individual clips, again, I'll explain it to you, helps you basically drag and drop your clips. All right, so if you want to unnest a sequence, you can either open the nested sequence in a new timeline, copy and paste it in the original main timeline, or drag the nested sequence from the bin to a source monitor, then toggle off the insert and override sequences as nests or individual clips button in the timeline. Okay, so this is what this button does. And afterwards, we have the snap in timeline. Now you can see that this is shaped as a magnet in our icon. There is a reason for that. Let's say I have a file over here for my, okay, let's double click on it to make it small again. And here you can see that I have a file over here, and let's say I use another file over here for my video. Okay, and now you can see that whenever I go close to the video, Adobe Premiere Pro is telling me, do you want to clip these video clips together so that they perform like a solid frame by frame transition? Okay, now what this will do is link my video to the next video exactly at the point that it ends, so that I do not have to worry about it basically dropping a frame. For example, let's say I put this off, and now you can see that it's letting me put the video where I want it. Okay, and down below you can see that it's showing me a time where I can basically add more seconds or reduce it according to my wish, and it will tell me exactly 0 seconds when I am done. Now if I go there, now let's say I just add 1 more second over here, or 5 seconds, you'll notice when I play the video, it will show a black screen. So if you want to like reduce that, or you want to not have that mistake, just put on this option for God's sake and make sure it is on, because your work will be much easier. Now there you go, this is what this tool does. And next is the link selection tool. Now what this option will do is basically help you select the audio and video file which is together in a group, and then you can move it anywhere in the timeline and they will still stay together. Now you'll see that when I deselect this option, I can select both the audio and the videos separately, and then I can move them anywhere in the timeline without it following each other. Okay, so I also recommend putting this on because you would like your audio and video which has the same comparison between each other to be linked. All right, and it will make your life a lot easier. Then we have the add marker option, which you can use to basically add markers. Okay, let's say I add a marker over here when the train arrives into view. All right, so there you go. This is a good point to add the marker. I can add it, and afterwards you will see that the marker is displayed over here. Now then we can go over here, also add a marker where we are cooking our food or doing the BBQ over here. It's really making me feel hungry right now. I wish I could eat something. All right, anyways, so now this is how you add markers. Okay, if you want to remove the marker that you just added, you can go over here. Okay, let's say I added 2 markers. You can see that it comes up in our source timeline. Okay, now we can just click on the markers over here, then add a name, add a comment. Okay, and we can also go to the previous and next markers in this option too. As you can see, it tells us the time over here very easily. And now here we can also select the marker color. Then we can also select the chapter marker, segmentation marker, web link, and here it will give us a URL for our marker. If we do that, then we can also delete the markers over here very easily. You can select it and delete it again. As you can clearly see, if I go over here, select this. Let's go to this video for here and double click on it. Now you can see the marker is in our source panel. Let's click on this and delete it, and there our marker is gone. Okay, so this is how you add markers in our video. And now I'll show you the more options you have in the timeline display settings. Now if I click on it, we can also select the show source clip name and label. What will this do is basically show the source clips label and name. And afterwards we have show video thumbnails, show video keyframes, show video names, show audio waveform, show audio keyframes names. Here you can see that we have the show clip markers. Now what will happen if I click on the show duplicate frame markers? Okay, what this does is basically help you to see if you have any duplicate clips. For example, let's say over here I made a copy of this clip, so let's press Alt and then copy it. You can not differentiate if this is a different clip. Okay, now if I select this option over here and select that, now you can see that it has a blue line over here, which is basically telling me that this is the same video. Okay, now if I click on it again, you'll see that it is still showing me that it's the same video. Now you'll notice that when I trim my video over here, okay, it is showing me that we have this much amount of duplicate video over here, but not this part over here, as you can clearly see. Okay, so this is how you use this option. Now let's say I deleted this part, and now you can see over here we have another copy. And if I just go over here and trim it again, you can see that this is what happens. Okay, let's delete that. And after deleting, you'll notice that our blue lines, we do not have any duplicate videos over here. Okay, so this is what the show duplicate frame markers do. And then we have show through edits. Okay, what this does is basically, let's say we have a clip over here just like that, and then we used our razor tool over here to cut this video into separate pieces just like this. Okay, and now if I go back using my selection tool, let's say I want to see if this video was the same or not. Okay, now I do not know or have any idea. For example, let me open this document in, for example, say I open this document from another editor perspective. Okay, and now I'll be like, whether, bro, is this guy sending me the same clip, or are they like different clips of the same video which are just being cut by the razor tool? Now I will not know that. Okay, in order to basically help the editor, we can just go over here and click on show through edits, and afterwards it will show me these arrows over here, which are basically telling me that these are the same video clips of a video, and there are just cuts in between them. Okay, now if I just press Ctrl Z, here you can see that it is still showing me that this part of the video is the same. Okay, let's press Ctrl Z, and now we're back. Let's use the razor tool again, and here you can see that it's still showing me that arrow sign in between the video cuts. All right, so this is what this option basically does. And then we have minimize all tracks, which will minimize all the tracks just like that. And afterwards we have expand all tracks, which will expand all your tracks so that you can see them very easily. After that, we have save preset, which will save the way you use your timeline panels. And then we have manage presets. Then we can customize video header and audio header. if you select customize audio video header, you will see that we have these options inside. Now if I just go over here, and then I can place this over here anywhere I want. As you can see that we can place this button over here too. You can place a keyframe over here also. We can also select that, and after you're done you can just click on OK. For now I'll just click on cancel. And this is the same for our audio header. As you can clearly see, we have some amounts of options to choose from. Here we have enable track for recording, then we have voice over record, which I already taught you, and then there's the track meter and the left right balance option. Okay, so let's go ahead and add it over here and press OK. Now afterwards you'll notice that if I double click on it, it will show me an option over here to balance my audio over here. We can put it more to the left if we want, we can put it more to the right, and if you don't want it, you can just right click over here, and then we can just put it back on the top just like that, and the audio will become clear. Okay, now if you just select any of this L and R options, it will just sway to one direction. Say I'm wearing headphones, if I click R, I'll be only hearing my audio in the right direction. If I click L, I'll only be hearing audio in the left direction. Okay, so this is how you use this option. Okay, afterwards we are done with this part, and then we have the caption track options. Now you can have this option only if you have like caption tracks enabled. And let's go forward with the next option over here, which are these 3 lines. And if I click on it, you can see that we have multiple options to choose from. We can create a work area bar, which will show you the work that you have done over here. Okay, then we have a show audio time units, will show your audio time units. Then we have the start time, which will basically help you to select where you want to start your video from. And afterwards we have the options to select video head and tail thumbnails. Then we have continuous video thumbnails. Now if I select the first option, video head and tail thumbnails, you'll notice that it is showing me the head and tail of my video. Now let's say that we go back over here and select the continuous video thumbnail, and what this will do is basically, if I had a longer video, it will basically show me what the video over here is like. Okay, it will show a continuous effect of what my video is and give me a preview. All right, next we have our option to create a preset for from sequence or reveal sequence in project. Now if I select that, it will review my sequence that I have created by putting it in the timeline panel, and then use it on my timeline panel itself. Okay, and then we can also make it an offline file in our timeline panel. Then we have multi-camera audio follows video, multi-camera selection top down. Okay, so this is that, and let's go forward. And just before I end this video, I would again like to tell you, you can go to the keyboard shortcuts over here and fix whatever you need for controlling your video tracks, etc. Okay, and here you can see that these are all the options you have in your Premiere Pro software, and here you can select any of these options and say your shortcut that you have placed. Okay, and then here you can select the command that we want for our modifiers key. All right, so thank you for watching this lesson, and I'll see you in the next video.